I'm James.
I'm Alex.
I'm Lewis.
And I'm Dan.
We're the Ragamuffins, and this is our recap of Burn It Down Festival 2024. So, Friday 30th of August and Saturday 31st of August, we went to Torquay for our second year at Burn It Down. Was your first year.
It was.
A lovely festival, which we enjoyed thoroughly for the first time last year, and so it was a very easy decision to make to go again, especially considering the lineup.
Yeah, lineup was just packed full of bands that we wanted to see, and always like the last 2 years that we've been, just some of the best up and coming bands in the heavy music scene. I think
they seem to really have their pulse on all kinds of different genres, I guess, of alternative music that we kind of talk about and cover and listen to anyway. So there's always plenty to go and see there. But should we just start right from the bat with first bands we saw on Friday, or has anyone else got anything they want to lead with?
No, I think we go straight into the bands because, like, to be fair, with it being a multi-venue festival, there's not anything else to really do. It's just go and see the bands. So
yeah, and they make it very easy. Like, before we talk about, I guess, specific bands, the fact that like the layout is obviously super easy because the venues are so close together, but like the organisation is so smooth and so well thought out that like just the fact that like the Foundry is running a set and then it's always like then the other two venues during like the off time. So there's literally from whenever the first set of the day is, there's like a constant stream of music right up until the headliner, which I think
no gaps.
Just makes it so easy to just be like, oh, got nothing to do, just go and see whatever's on.
Yeah, and because it's in a town centre as well, you can either just, if you've got nothing else on, you can just go and check out another band that you might not have seen before, or you can like pop and find some food somewhere.
Go to the beach.
Taco Bell.
It's like a holiday and a festival rolled into one.
Before we do that, go into the bands, I will just quickly note as well, the upgrade that we saw from last year while we're talking about locations was right next to Apple and Parrot. They had kind of an exhibition area for essentially a merch market, which was really cool. It felt like one of those things, that was one of the more major things, but it felt like there were a lot of things throughout the festival that were like a step up from last year in particular, to really kind of make those improvements.
Well, last year they had the merch like around the upstairs part of the Foundry.
Yeah,
and moving it into that other room just meant there was so much more space.
Oh my god, I wasn't there last year, but I can imagine it being there would have been so tight.
A bit cramped, especially if there's people like queuing up to buy some merch while there was a band on it. Yeah, it's
and trying to look
a really good move to move it over to the other side, and there was like loads of benches and like foods and like a cafe and stuff. So it was a nice little communal area.
It's a bit like a respite area,
like a little common room.
If you wanted some aircon and just go and sit down for a bit, just go into the view.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it was also really nice. We keep being like, let's talk about bands, and then we don't.
We literally said, let's just get straight into the band, and then we haven't talked about the bands.
But the fact as well that it wasn't just like band merch that was available. Like they had independent like sellers like from within the alternative scene. So things like Bong Clothing, Flowers and Bones, seeing stuff like that there, just sort of, I don't know. I guess it just further like pushes the fact that the UK alternative scene is like in such a strong like community like feel at the moment, where it's like you don't really have to be in a band to like be involved. You could just like whatever your creative outlet is.
Yeah,
like,
it's a lifestyle, isn't it? It's like an attitude more than anything. Dark Matter's Brownies were there as well, who do really, really good brownies. Go and check them out.
Send us some. But the bands. Let's talk about the bands.
The real reason that everyone's at Burn It Down Festival is for the bands.
I mean, it opened at 12:30 in Apple and Parrot with Vanitas.
Did you catch any of that?
I think I did.
I did. Like 2 or 3 songs. Yeah, great. It was a brilliant way just to start the festival. Because with it being my first time, I still trying to figure out like how it was all going to work and like what the sort of feel was. But I watched the sound check. Didn't actually realise it was the sound check, and there was still already people sort of stood watching. And then she goes, yeah, don't actually listen now because we'll be on in about 10 minutes, and that's when we're really going to do it. So, and then she absolutely smashed it. Great vocals, and the band just sounded really good.
They sounded really cool.
Really nice way to open the festival as well. I remember that, and
the fact that I'd never really heard of them and was just like straight away I'm impressed. So that just puts it in good stead for the rest of the festival.
I mean, with that as well, there were multiple bands throughout the weekends that I think, especially Apple and Parrot, are good at highlighting in that venue. Of like, oh, let's just go in there, see who it is, and you kind of discover bands, and then we always talk about. But for me, for example, Carrier was one that I think we saw the next day, where it's like, oh, okay, let's just go in there and just see who's on, and like, oh shit, okay, that's really fucking good.
Apple and Parrot is literally a pub, so it's like, oh, let's just go and sit in the pub and like see what band's on. And
then here's some
yeah.
bagging metalcore.
So it's a good place to discover some new music because, like I said, the bands they book there like are all great, all really good up and coming bands. So some of the bands that you'll see in the Apple and Parrot will be, I mean, on the Foundry stage in years to come, on bigger stages at other festivals, doing big tours with big bands. So it's a good place to kind of say you were there first and be that annoying person in your friend group that's like, oh yeah, I saw them in the Apple and Parrot.
You should have been there, man. I saw him in the Apple and Parrot.
Yeah.
It went
You weren't there, man.
But I mean, we were still in the Apple and Parrot for the next band we saw, I think. Because I think we all saw Aramea.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Oh no, I saw a bit of I saw My Only Solution.
Okay. How was it?
Really fun. No, they had a really cool sort of like alt rock vibe, but then there were moments where it got like quite heavy, and it was amazing. I thought they sounded really cool. I think it was a good testament to just like how like on board like the punters were, in the sense that like those first two bands had really good crowds like for the time of day that they were on, because we've been to so many festivals where you go to like the first set of the day and it's dead, and it's like it ends up being a bit awkward, or like we're even guilty of it, especially at like Download, where it's like, am I going to get to the arena for 11:30? No. But I feel like this festival sort of breeds the right mentality of like, I'm here to consume as much music as I can, so I will. So yeah, I thought they were really good.
And then Aramea.
Yeah, I mean, we interviewed Whitney from Aramea. That'll be on the channel by now, I'm sure. So go and check that out. But then, of course, we went and saw their set at the Apple and Parrot. They had a few technical issues, which meant they had to cut a few songs out of their set. But the songs they did play were excellent.
Great set still, yeah. First time seeing them. Second time seeing them.
Yeah, we saw them in Oxford.
Saw them in
South
Oxford, didn't we?
Arcade.
Yeah. And yeah, really, really good. They felt extremely strong there. And I'll bring it in now with it. Every band on the lineup felt like they should be there, and they fitted. And again, they obviously, it's just come to mind now with that. They're a great example of that, of just kind of fitting within what Burn It Down, I guess, almost ethos is, with kind of bringing up the smaller artists while obviously bringing the highlight to, I guess, mid-tier bands that are coming through to kind of take that headline slot, like Creeper, for example, or Wargasm. But it did feel like all the bands that were there should be there. And it just felt like a natural fit for everyone with all the different kind of genres you had, but completely Aramea absolutely killed it.
I'm always really impressed with their vocals.
Yep.
Like live,
and the stage presence as well.
Yeah, but it's just.
But from all of them, to be fair, like they're all just having a ball up there.
But like crucially, just her vocals are spot on. There isn't a single like slightly flat or like out of breath. There's something that she does. It's just perfect. So yeah.
I think after that, I went to watch some Haggard Cat.
Yep.
I think we all saw a bit of a Haggard Cat.
Yeah.
And I think we were all quite impressed.
Blown away. I
Oh,
couldn't
so
stop
fun.
smiling the whole time. They were so good.
There's just so much energy on the stage. It's infectious, and you kind of just get drawn into it so much. You can't help but just watch, and especially kind of what we've seen of them at 2000 Trees before as well. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to go to that. You
That's
have
what
that
I was going to
knowledge
say.
there.
They're a band that I've seen a couple of times now that I need to actually properly sit down and listen to, because the live music, the live set theirs, I'm completely sold on. Seeing them in that little tent in the campsite
Oh
in the
my
trees.
I still remember that.
And
Yeah.
then-
What they played at one of the little camp sets.
At
So
like
our-
2 a.m.
Yeah.
We were like
2022.
stumbling back from the silent
the
disco.
Forest Silent Disco finished, and then we were like, all right, bedtime. And as we walked back, Haggard Cat in the campsite.
Okay, not
With his
bedtime.
massive pedal board, and he's just going nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Literally.
madness.
Absolutely phenomenal.
That's.
That.
Oh, I wish
still
I'd have
remember
seen that.
Yeah.
I also-
you go back and watch our 2022 2000 Trees vlog, and you might
Yeah,
see
I've
it.
definitely watched it.
I believe those two guys were also in the band Heck.
I know the singer.
The
at
singer
least
definitely,
was,
and I feel like the drummer was the drummer of Heck.
Mm.
So
Yeah, the singer used to be in Palm Reader as well, sort of on and off, I believe.
Yeah.
So
Oh wow.
So like
Busy
no
man.
surprises that their live show is crazy, because Heck was like one of the best. That was like
Yeah.
I saw Heck at like Truck 2016 as like a wee little teenage boy. Didn't know what I was walking into, and it was like
you went, oh heck.
you know,
it was like borderline life.
we're going to be going
changing
off
for
on a
me.
tangent here. I
Yeah.
saw Heck when they were called Baby Godzilla
Oh my
in I
goodness.
think 2011 or 2012, and then again at Trees under the new name. God, I hope they play some shows again.
Oh Heck, please.
Thing is, I don't think anyone will book them apart from 2000 Trees at this point.
Or like a venue that's already falling apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or needs to be
Just get them in for a
needs
demolition job.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just do another duality video.
Yeah,
but
oh my
essentially,
God.
they
Yeah,
will
if
just
anyone
destroy
if
it.
anyone wants to tear down their own house for a Heck gig,
Give them a call.
Just make sure it is your house.
Yeah.
Anyway, Haggard Cat are crazy as
Yes,
well, though.
Haggard Cat
So,
are brilliant.
amazing show.
The energy from the drummer, like I couldn't stop watching him.
I was dialed in.
I don't know if everyone else did, but I stood up sort of like above,
Yeah.
and then I just couldn't stop. I'm guilty of that usually anyway. If I've got a good sight of the drummer, I find myself just locking in. But yeah, it was you couldn't stop watching because he was so animated and just you could tell he was really enjoying what he was doing.
I think that's like we've said it 100 times, but like if the band's having fun, it's
It
like,
makes such a
makes
difference.
it such a difference. And I think that drummer is the most happy to be there, enjoying himself musician I think I might have ever seen.
He kept speaking to the crowd, but he didn't have like an actual vocal mic. He was
Yeah,
speaking,
into
he was
the tom.
speaking into the tom mic.
I love that.
I bet the sound man loved that.
They were brilliant. I think they would be quite a fun Apple and Parrot headliner if you wanted to like book them again.
Carnage, wouldn't it?
Kill everyone in the place. Yeah.
Or
Unless-
like after party.
Or after party would be sick because they're the sort of band I would like to just see again and again. Burn it
Anywhere.
down. So I feel like it's probably fun to like mix it up and put them in the Apple and Parrot for a year,
Maybe next year.
maybe next
Maybe
year.
next year.
But after that set, we went back to Apple and Parrot and watched Blank Atlas.
We
didn't
did.
The Mighty Blank
Yeah.
Atlas.
Another band that we interviewed later that day. Again, that'll be on the channel. Go and check it out. Really nice guys. They're a band that are quite new to me. I didn't realise they'd been around for so long. But yeah, seen them twice now. Trees and at Burn It Down. And yeah, excellent band. Another band that has suffered from a few technical issues, but
Yeah, well, at one
battled
point
through it, and they seemed a little frustrated, but then they kind of got over it and just smashed through the rest of the set.
'Cause
Everyone in there had a great time as well.
They were obviously using samples and like the backing tracks and stuff for like
I just flinched to try and catch your phone.
for like for like atmospheric sounds and stuff during the songs. But obviously, once you've started that, you can't just stop if you have an issue. And they had half the stage go out of power at one point. So they I can't remember his bloody name. The guitarist just went.
Dan.
Does anyone know any jokes, or does anyone want to talk about anything? And then they got the sound. While they were waiting for the sound to get up, they just did the breakdown in the song. So they just played 30 seconds of like the best bit of the song. Did the breakdown and went, well, we're happy we did that, and then managed to get it going again, and then just played the rest of the set, and it was spot on. They dealt with it so well.
Nice.
But yeah, when they did get to actually play, brilliant as always.
I wasn't there because I was at Grief Ritual, my first step into the attic of the weekend. Just like crushingly heavy, which is what the attic's all about. It's not
It's
safe,
like-
not a safe place.
It's
But,
it's upstairs, but it feels like a dingy basement,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Like a
And,
dungeon of hardcore
Again,
that gets
just-
filled with high vis jackets
yeah.
because pint glass are on the lineup.
And people doing cartwheel kicks.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is like again, so early in the day, they were the second band on in the attic, and already you've got people like swinging furiously at anything in their vicinity. So, love that. I think that's fun that like this whole festival books like a really diverse lineup, but the attic itself feels like a really cool like microcosm of the UK hardcore scene, and like there are like for me especially, I watch so many like American hardcore show videos on YouTube, like Hate 5/6 stuff for years, and like you don't often realise that sort of stuff's going on in the UK
Yeah.
because it feels like it's just a completely different world. So for something like that to have like its own like proper dedicated space,
it's like it's
to
got a little
thrive.
home up there, isn't it?
It's really like
And I
It's
mean,
quite
there's
comforting.
hardcore bands across the whole lineup,
Yeah.
but that stage in particular feels like it's just housing like the best up and coming UK hardcore bands. Speaking of hardcore bands across the rest of the lineup, I think we next all saw Grove Street on the main
Yes.
stage.
Yes.
Massive inflatable pizza in the mosh pit.
That people started using as a lilo.
Yeah, people were like, people would put it on the ground, and then like the inflatables seem to be like a part of the
Well,
burn it down culture.
You're by the beach, aren't you?
Yeah,
You've
exactly. So people were putting this giant pizza down on the floor, getting someone to lay on it, and then just picking it up
just hoisting
and
it up.
off over the barrier. Person comes off, pizza comes back into the crowd, and you do it all over
Who's
again.
next?
Rinse repeat, rinse repeat,
Just keep
rinse
going
repeat.
until it deflates.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
But
So
Grove
much fun.
Street, so sick. They were really fun at Trees, but I was fucking knackered. by
Once
the
again,
time
they
their
had
set came
they
on.
had like a life raft, like a
Yeah,
dinghy,
yeah.
a dinghy being crowd surfed at the
Yeah.
tree set, and then at Burn It Down, they've got a giant pizza slice.
But they're brilliant.
Unbelievable.
It's nice. I feel like this festival season they've had has like helped push them just like that next little bit up, which is more than deserved because they're fucking sick.
So after that, we kind of had a bit of a gap in our day because of like the interviews you mentioned. As I say, we'll say again, watch them. They're on the channel.
I think we probably had Graphic Nature in that little gap.
We might
In
have
the
had
hot
them.
seat.
Yeah, we interviewed them just before they went on, didn't we? It was about 40
maybe
minutes
like
before
20
they went
minutes
on.
before. Yeah,
Which was then the next set that I saw.
which meant we didn't see any bands for a little while. So Graphic Nature were probably the next band that we saw.
The thing I learned is that they're always fucking incredible. They always put on a show. You're never going to get let down by them. And I think in particular, the one weird part of it, as we were kind of got to the end of the second day anyway, and we were kind of talking about our favourite bands, and it's like, oh, Graphic Nature, but that's obvious. But that's that's the thing. It's like
You can rely on them.
It's so reliable.
They're so consistent.
The amount of times we've seen them at various festivals and at their own shows, everything has been so perfectly consistent. Crowd interactions, they sound amazing. The whole live package that they put together is phenomenal and flawless. And it's easy to kind of have other bands that we saw over the weekend that we'll talk about where it's like, that set blew me away and things like that. They do it so consistently, which is difficult to do. And off the recent HMA's win, second album, phenomenal. Like, they are just fucking going up.
Yeah,
like that. There is no plateau on the trajectory.
I was going to say, I think we've seen them loads of times, but I think they're getting better as well.
Yeah.
And I see potential, like after seeing them at their HMAs at Kentish Town Forum on the biggest stage they've probably played so far, maybe bar festivals, with all the production they had, all the lighting and stuff. When they're getting those sort of opportunities for their headline shows, I'm really excited to see what they come up with.
It was great to listen to some of the new stuff as well, live, because obviously this was just after they released their album, and we haven't seen them since they released their album. Well, you did, didn't you? You saw them at HMS.
Yeah, but they didn't play much.
No,
of it,
but yeah, you could tell that the songs that Harvey was really going for were the ones that really meant a lot to him, and it's just they're so consistently good. And every time you watch them, it's like it's the first time they've done it. Like, we're going for it now.
Yeah,
like it doesn't feel like they've just done the same. Like they've done this 4 times in the last month. This is like, no, this is the time. We're just gonna go and do it. It's just so good. I ended up I filmed one song and then was just like, nope, I'm moshing. I think I twisted my ankle 3 times in that one bit.
I think the one that stands out to me in particular is something I'm not. As a live
check it out
song.
in full on the channel right
full.
now.
Well,
we've got some great multicam footage of that one. Well done, everyone.
Thank you very much.
But that I was just seeing it live as well, and just hearing the vocals of it after listening to it so much on the new album, that came across as probably one of their best live songs to me in that moment there. It just blew me away, and I just could not stop watching the stage in awe of what was happening in front of me.
It is one of their best songs, period.
Yeah.
But
I think it's my favourite Graphic Nature song.
That riff live, oh my God. It just did things to me. It was so good.
Graphic Nature did things to you.
Oh yeah, they did.
But in summary, you've heard us talk about them before. If you aren't on their Graphic Nature train, just fucking
Where are
get
you?
on.
Get locked in.
They are such a great band. They are probably one of, if not the best UK kind of young, newish bands that are heavy at the moment. They are doing everything right. There is no misses. Just fucking listen to them.
And they're bloody lovely.
Really nice people.
They are bloody lovely.
Anyway.
Yeah, you can tell they're doing it because they love it as well. Like, we asked them how it feels to be recognised in the industry by winning that Heavy Music Award, and they were like, we didn't really know that we could. So that's just really nice to hear, I think. They're obviously just in it for the right reasons. They just love doing it, and they have a message to deliver as well.
Exactly. Such an important message that they keep pushing out, which is incredible to keep doing. So,
From Graphic Nature.
Yeah, speaking of pushing things out, I think we went for a little break at this point and all went to Taco Bell.
yes, we did.
delicious.
Was that your first? Was it your first Taco Bell?
That was
James?
my first
Yeah.
ever Taco Bell.
How was it for you?
Loved it. Very good. Very nice.
How many did you have throughout the festival in the end?
2?
Was that when your guts gave up, or?
My guts gave up.
I know Josh's did.
Why does the
No,
number
mine
2
were
come to
fine.
mind?
Yeah.
Oh no! Hey, I was safe. Like at Download when I had the alternative one of the Yorkie Puds. I didn't have the really bad version. I was
The bad
okay.
pud.
Bad pud.
I was
Pud.
bad. Pud.
Bad pud.
I was fine. I still remember you just opening my tent, being like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was fine." Why? I was like,
Everyone's
people have been
shitting.
shitting themselves from Yorkie Puds.
to shut herself.
It was like we haven't heard from James this morning.
Yeah, that was it. We were like,
we were all up, and James wasn't.
like
We
the
were
news
like,
had come in.
The news had come in. Breaking. Yorkie Puds made festival goers shit themselves.
Signal, a carrier pigeon
Yeah.
just arrived in the camp.
It was like, you know, in the Hunger Games when they do shoot the cannons and put them onto the sky. It's like face shit herself. We're like, no, James.
But then,
We weren't slowing down
Yeah,
after
I was
graphic
going to
nature.
have a chicken burrito, by the way, but they'd run out of chicken.
had they?
Yeah.
What did you have in the end?
I just had chips in the end, I think.
Good chips
Sad.
though.
Yeah, the chips are really good.
I
Paprika
actually
salt.
didn't. I think I only got that little burrito when we first got there, and then that was it. And I was like, I'm not risking it.
Tell you what, they're quesadillas.
Quesadillas where it's
Was that when you guys nearly had a
Quesadillas.
fist fight because you thought you were going to eat more than half?
Yeah.
Anyway, back
That
to
is
the
bloody
music.
Back to
lovely.
the music.
Yeah, after that, refueled, back to the music. I think we went upstairs and saw Cauldron.
Yes. Yes.
Who are a
yes,
band we've
yes.
seen a few times. They played at Burnt Down last year. Seen them at Trees.
Just sick as
And
fuck.
again, just like the perfect setting for that kind of music, I think.
Yeah. Suicide in the City, I think, is still one of those like under the radar albums from last year. People just aren't talking about them enough, I think. So hopefully we get to start seeing them in more places because I think they're great.
I had not gone to see them, so I was getting in early ready for Black Gold.
Which I didn't see much of, but like
they were
it seems like it
brilliant.
was one
Wow.
of the sets of the weekend. by the look
You
of it.
missed out.
Mhm.
Yes, I mean,
So I was backstage chatting to
You-
bands.
had you seen them before?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. Yeah,
Yeah, saw him at Trees.
that's right. Yeah,
It was like it was a mirror because we saw him at Graphic Nature and then saw Black Gold at Trees,
Yeah.
and then this time we saw Graphic Nature and then saw Black Gold, and it was
Deja Vu.
This was
Um,
like
so good.
this is the one where it clicked for me
This was one of the
because I've heard you guys talking about Black Gold now
Yes.
for like over a year,
Yeah.
being like they're sick as fuck, and I've always been like, yeah, all right. And then I watched this set, and I watched it from like
Up
up
above.
to up above, and I was like, yeah, this is cool.
It
as
also
fuck.
clicked for Sam.
Yeah,
'cause
Sam was going.
Sam loved it.
I said to Sam, I was like, "You ever listen to Black Gold?" He's like, "No, no." I was like, "You're gonna fucking love this," and saw the whole
You
set.
will love it.
And then as we were leaving, he grabbed me and he was like, "What the fuck was that? That was amazing." And he was like, "Hands down, best set I've ever
There's
seen."
a clip in the vlog, which you can see on the channel. I think that's the first mention of the vlog, actually.
Like in everything
where
else.
he's basically speechless. He doesn't know what to say in reaction to Black Gold. And I'll tell you what, I was only there for the last maybe 2 or 3 songs, but also from editing the footage in the vlog. Like I'm sold just from editing the footage.
There's such
basically.
a strong band in this new wave of new metal that's been coming through recently, or like new core, as you kind of have some of it. And the live performance is just so dialed in. It's amazing, and you can kind of stand there in awe of it. But as a band, they are fantastically tight. Put on a great performance, a fantastic show, and you can't help but just stand there and just take it all in and watch it. Kind of forces you to.
I think with the new wave of new metal as well, you've kind of got some bands that are like conveying a message, like Graphic Nature are, like some that are just trying to be heavy as fuck. Like Black Gold just seem to be like a party band, like
It's
they're having a
fun.
good time.
The amount of
Very,
personality
very
that
like
comes
Limp
through.
Bizkit style.
Yeah, the amount of personality that comes through, even though you can't see
Yeah.
their bloody faces, like it's just there. Yeah, like if you ever get a chance to watch Black Gold, definitely go watch the whole
Yeah.
set, and you will not be disappointed.
I think another band that have
Guaranteed.
got better each time I've seen them as well. And that's coming from someone that hasn't even seen a full set of theirs. I've only seen like
Bits and pieces.
at festivals we've been to. But yeah, this was really, really good.
Very much on my radar fully now.
We got photo pit for that, and we were so close, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, phenomenal set.
We got so much good footage as well.
I think this weekend highlights as well that like I think when you think about new metal, you immediately go to like a nostalgic like sort of frame of mind because it's something from like the 90s 2000s. But this weekend showed me that like bands like Graphic Nature, Black Gold, Aramea, who are like bringing it back, there's like so much like new life that's being breathed into the genre now that it feels like, I don't know, I know we weren't there, but this must have felt how it must have felt to be there in like the 90s with how exciting it is now, because it's like you said, there are bands that are like straight up heavy, some bands that like Black Gold that are just more fun. Like it's just insane to be in like
Well,
a proper new metal.
If you think
era
about
now.
it, so you got the straight up heavy, so Slipknot, You got the bands that are fun, Limp Bizkit. You got like the ones with really like heavy messages, Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Like all around the same sort of time period. And now if you just put that to now, you've got Graphic Nature, Black Gold, Aramea. It's all
all
the
there,
history's repeating itself, but
in a fresh way. Yeah.
Fucking love new metal.
Hell yeah.
And then I think afterwards, did anyone go and see anything, or did we all go around for See You Space Cowboy?
I think it might have been Space Cowboy.
I think it
Space
might have been
Cowboy.
Space Cowboy.
Yeehaw.
So like heard bits and pieces before, but never really delved into it. But again, I just felt myself encapsulated in the performance, and I was watching that in particular from like above as well, and just kind of in awe of everything that was going on, and it just felt like, again, another incredibly tight, locked-in performance. They felt professional, and they kind of just made that room their own completely. And from a band that I hadn't really spent too much time with, they've come away as probably that band that I need to listen to them more, and have really kind of got my attention now because of that set and how good they were live.
I know I've mentioned that Burn It Down's great at booking like up and coming UK bands, but they're also really good at just like sneaking in a band like See You Space Cowboy, like Being as an Ocean, that are like international touring bands that they've just managed to grab.
There was a space in their schedule.
Like they're in Torquay.
Why?
Like, could you imagine being like Connie from See You Space Cowboy and being like, "Oh, where are we going next? Torquay? Oh, where the hell's that?"
What the fuck's that?
But then putting on a show like that, having a crowd response like that, and I tell you what, they'll be happy they went to Burn It Down Festival and played at the Foundry in Torquay.
Also, just to note that Connie was in the pit for Cauldron. I don't know if anyone else noticed it.
No, I didn't.
She was going mental, like absolutely apeshit. And then the next,
they did shout out Cauldron, didn't they? Yeah.
Because at one point I could see her and she was like bopping her head along, but she was like right near the front. And all of a sudden I saw her like rip off her hat and just fucking like do like a cartwheel kick. It was insane. And then she put on her story either like that night or the next day that her hand was in like a soft cast, and she put like thanks at Cauldron. So I think that's also awesome that like the front woman of a band playing so high up on the festival is like throwing down like just before their set, like an hour before their set time.
Yeah, that's not a big risk, is it?
Yeah, so respect for that.
Love that
very much.
It also wasn't the only time we saw band members enjoying the shows. Like, when I think it was Boss Cass when the singer from Blank Atlas was going crazy. Like it was because it's so like small. Like, and they go, well, we might as well go and see them.
He was
right
in
there.
the Unpeople pit as well,
Yeah,
going fucking mental. So
Graphic Nature wanted to go and see. Were telling us how much they wanted to go and see Grove Street.
Yeah.
They rescheduled.
Their time
our interview with them, didn't they? Because they want to see Grove Street.
Because we want to see
Fair
Grove
enough.
Street.
And then we were like,
yeah?
actually, we kind of want to see Grove Street as well. So yeah, fine with that.
Works for both of us.
Yeah.
And then I think the finishing one for us in particular was Enola Gay.
Yeah. I think it's a pattern with the Apple and Parrot. They seem to have not like game-changing like technical issues, but every other band seemed to just have something go a little bit wrong. But every band that had issues, like you'd forget about them almost immediately. Because again, Enola Gay, a band that we kind of discovered at Trees not too long ago, we saw twice at Trees and then again at Burn It Down, and I think they're one of the most exciting live bands around at the moment. I'm really, really excited by them. I love their blend of alternative music and kind of post-punk stuff as well. They're both genres that I really love. So
I really like how he makes a point of singing in his really strong accent as well, because it adds something to his performance and it makes
it genuine.
That's Enola Gay, like, because they're again, first time even really hearing about them was at Trees this year,
and then like immediately you recognise the songs as well.
Yep. And they've got that one song where it's just two notes the whole way through. Yeah, dong, dong, but they just do that, but they get such an atmosphere with the big build up with it, and then they got the big drop when he's just just talking into the mic, and the whole pub's like, what's gonna happen? Boom, boom, goes back into it, and everyone just goes nuts. I remember when we saw them at Trees, I had that stuck in my head for the rest of the festival, and then I sort of managed to get it out, and then for the last 2 weeks, all I've been thinking is just all the bloody time because it's so good.
Yeah, brilliant band. I hope we see a lot more of them in the future.
So before we move on to day 2, Ali, what was your favourite set of Friday?
Well, hang on, didn't
Well, I haven't even
you
finished talking
You
about
saw a bit of
Friday.
Pint Glass, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh,
This geezer over here.
This
Talk about
geezer.
Pint Glass first then.
I went to see Pint Glass, and it was obnoxiously
Were there geezers
silly.
to the left?
And
Were there geezers to the right?
yeah, and then the geezers were all in the middle. It was stupid fun.
Someone's getting knocked out on that
Yep.
site.
It's geezer core basically is how
Oh,
it. So
Okay.
they come on stage in like
That sounds fun.
brilliant. They come on stage in high vis vests and like balaclavas and shit, and they just go fucking obnoxiously hard. And it was
I'm agreeing. I didn't see them, but
it was crazy
yeah,
fun. Yeah.
I'm on board with it.
Was Josh there
sounds
with you?
fun.
Was it just you? Or Sam?
I don't know where they were.
Was you just by yourself then?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Just on my Todd, but it was fine. Everyone was very welcoming with open arms that then swung at me
I
very
was going
quickly.
to say, yeah.
But nah, they were sick as fuck. And then me and Josh did stick around for Wargasm because I thought, full disclosure, I don't like them.
Full disclosure,
I
we don't like them.
I don't
Right.
like them.
Well, going into the set, you didn't
Going
like
into the
them.
set, I thought I don't
And-
like this band,
And what about now?
but I'm here. I'll give them a try. At 25 past 10, they had still not come to the stage, and I was a bit like, okay, kind of want to go to bed now.
We'd gone home, hadn't we?
Yeah,
got
we
the
were
hotel
already in bed. I say in bed. We were editing.
We were editing already.
So yeah, they were like about 25 minutes to half an hour past their set time. But eventually they came on, and then I was like,
It's annoying, isn't
it's
it?
not
'Cause
for me.
when it's a band that you're not even that excited to see, and you're gonna give them a chance. When they're then late, it's a bit like, oh, well,
Yeah.
Yeah, because that
So
happened.
making
It'll be a
making
running
you-
theme on
it's
dating.
closing your mind a little bit more, isn't it?
Because that happened at Sleep Token, didn't it? We waited for like 40 minutes for them to come on. Was it?
That's different though, isn't it? Because
But-
it's a band that we love.
But I was like,
But-
I'd wait here for 4 hours,
Yeah.
and I'd still be happy if they played
Mm.
one song. But if I'd have waited
When-
for 40 minutes,
when it's
for
a band
Orgasm,
that you're just giving a chance to, and they make
Yeah.
you wait.
they better blow me away
Yeah.
once they come on. But again, we
And-
don't know whose fault
And
it
they
was.
didn't.
And did they?
No, they didn't.
Oh no.
I don't know.
They
'cause
blew
I
you away
didn't-
in the sense that
They blew me out
You,
the
made
door.
you
leave.
went. Yeah.
I also don't know, so maybe someone in the comments could tell us if they were there. But I'm not sure if they still played like a full set's worth,
Right,
or if they
yeah.
had to just play like
Up until
up
11.
to the curfew of 11. So I think if they did play the full set, then fair enough, it worthwhile for the people that enjoyed it. But for me, it was just like, I've given this a try, and
That's the thing as well. None of us have any
It's
personal.
not for you,
none of
Jamie.
us have any personal vendetta against Wargasm. It's just they're not really our thing. But if they're your thing and you enjoyed it, then awesome.
fair enough. On to the Saturday.
Well, who was your
Well-
favourite live set of the Friday, would you say?
Golly gosh, what a question. Someone else go or not?
Graphic Nature.
Black Gold.
Black Gold.
Graphic Nature's the easy answer, isn't it?
Oh, sorry.
Did you enjoy them the most?
Do you know what? I think I probably enjoyed Space Cowboy the most.
Really?
So
Interesting.
I'll say that.
Bit of diversity.
That was the question.
That was
so-
the question.
You're not meant
And
to
that's
say
my
Yeah.
answer.
Right then.
Yeah, following day again. This is like a holiday as well as a festival. So I mean, I got up early and went for a walk down the beach. James didn't go to the gym. On
I'd
this
gone
day,
to the gym the
actually.
day before.
Um,
I was up until 2 o'clock editing photos to put out for the next day, so I decided not to go to the gym that morning.
yeah.
Don't worry, your medal's in the post, mate. Thank you.
Oh, I worked the hardest. You can have one for
I
staying
went
up
in the photo
until
pit.
3 a.m.
Yeah,
Huh?
I went for a nice little leisure.
Sam said you stayed until 3 a.m.
Oh yeah, we did. We were watching Own Goals and Gaffs. If anyone knows what that is in the comments.
Yeah, I think I had it on VHS.
I had it on DVD.
We had it on DVD.
Yeah.
And there was a second one as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's what we were
Who
watching.
presented
We
it?
were watching more Own Goals and Gaffs. Rory McGrath.
Massive tangent. Massive tangent. Anyway,
Yeah, I got up the next morning, went for a nice stroll along the beach, did a bit of an explore, which is very nice. It's what I like to do when I'm on a holiday, working holiday.
on your
I
holly
suppose.
bobs.
And then we strolled into Torquay, strolled into town, had some breakfast.
Good old
Just-
spoons.
Just a bunch of lads, the Reservoir Dogs, strolling around Torquay.
Can we just talk about that?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
talk
that
about that.
mad comment.
There'll be more of it in the vlog, but we were just walking to town. We were quite excited. I mean, we genuinely had smiles on our faces.
We
were
were
just
just being,
we were laughing
we were just
about
being jovial young
Yeah.
boys that were just, you know, we were dressed as we normally dress.
And there was just some bloke that was like,
Quah.
"Carl, you look like a bloody reservoir of dogs walking around like that." I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly
he
where.
was, but we'll stick with West Country.
I'm not sure where he was from.
From somewhere.
We'll stick with whatever that
Yeah.
was. But it was the way you went, "Gar, you look like reservoir dogs." I think he just couldn't think of something and just came out with whatever his brain thought first.
I'll take
I mean,
it.
I liked it.
Take
Like,
that.
Yeah,
We walked around like the reservoir dogs after that.
That puts a fucking sprig in your step.
That's
being
how you
called the
start a
Reservoir
day.
Dogs, yeah. So fucking hell.
Have
So
a
the
man
dogs rolled
walking his
in.
dog.
The dogs
So you-
rolled into day 2. Who did we see first?
We saw a band before Carrier, and then we saw Carrier, and they were really good. Reminded me of Counterparts.
Yeah, really, really good vocals. I kept thinking though that the vocalist for Carrier must be fucking boiling.
With the turtleneck.
Because he had,
Turtleneck,
like,
yeah.
T-shirt,
Good on him.
turtleneck, and then like a flannel on as well. And I was like, I was boiling, not just standing there in Apple and Parrot enjoying this. He must be fucking sweltering.
They're from the south, though, aren't they? So they're probably. I think they were from Plymouth, which isn't too far down the road from Torquay. So probably just used to.
Why does that mean?
They're used to the weather down there.
What the hell is he? What are you on
They're
about?
used to the south. They're used to the south coast
thinking,
climbs.
How is he going to connect these two? Well, they are from the south. So of course you wear layers when you're in the south.
Southern boys got a layer.
We're in the north.
We should know that.
No.
They're used to the southern climes.
I love the bit in the Apple and Parrot though where you can kind of watch it from the side angle, kind of up a little bit.
When you have to duck underneath.
Yeah, in the alcove kind of area. And I remember
So
watching.
you're leaning through, going, "Oh, Chloe!"
But yeah, just kind of watching it from in there was just quite sick. Yeah, really, really enjoy a band, and it was for me that was a solid way to kind of start the day.
My day started in the attic with Born in Dissonance, who was sick as fuck. One of the coolest things that I think a hardcore band can do is when their singer gets into the crowd and moshes. And they did that. It was like the last song of their set, and he was like, "Fucking come on then," put the mic down, hopped over the little Barrett they had in there, and he was fucking throwing down with everyone. And I was like, yes, I like this a lot. So shout out Born in Dissonance because they were brilliant. They what a way to start the day for me. So cheers.
I think after Carrier, we were then at Boss Cass, weren't we?
Yeah, we thought we'd switch up a little bit and follow
band
a recommendation.
or rather a solo punk performance, which was recommended to us by Dan, one of our viewers, and I think someone else as well. I'm sure I heard more than one person recommend them to us, but was thoroughly impressed.
Very surprised because I just didn't know what to expect of it as kind of like a one-man thing, and just came away from it just kind of like, wow, blown away at how good his energy was on stage. He kind of had the crowd in there in Apple and Parrot in the palm of his hand.
He had him doing a conga at one point.
Yeah, it was. You're right there, Alex.
I don't know. I think it's something I've done. No.
I was thinking Boss Cass.
It's the guy off Star Wars.
Yeah, we've already
Boss Nass.
we've already me and Josh already figured this one out. Were you not there when we were trying to figure it out? Yeah.
Was the voice of Boss. Sorry. So, I don't even know who was speaking just then. You were speaking very well about Boss Cass, but all I could think about was.
This is my favourite tangent we've gone on so far today.
For God's
Boss
sake.
Nass.
Um,
Fucking hell.
He at Boss Cass, he had the crowd in the palm of his hand with it. Like you say, he had the crowd doing a conga line at one point through Apple and Parrot.
Not just that, but the little
so
like
good.
lighting setup and stuff he had going
That was
on.
so cool.
Like,
That was very good.
basically what Bring Me the Horizon were doing at their headline shows, but on a small scale. I mean, you laugh, but like it is doing the whole like crowd noise level assessment, and which makes everyone go "Way" because it's in a pub.
But having like the wherewithal to do that when you're the only one on the stage, and like just hope
massive.
to God that you're going to get a good reaction, because if not, how bloody awkward would that be? But yeah, spot on.
You just say it's broken,
Really
wouldn't you?
Yeah, he's like, I don't know what that bitch
shit don't work.
I don't know what that bitch was on about. We'll turn that off.
No,
Yeah.
Brilliant set. Like not even a case of for a solo performance that was great. Like as a performance that was great.
Yeah, really, I was really surprised. I hadn't listened to any of his stuff before.
Mm.
Obviously, was recommended it, so we went along and was blown away. And I've actually been listening to his stuff like on Spotify. So if you get a chance, he used to be called Fluff. So I don't know if anyone's heard of that, but he's now called Boss Cass. And yeah, puts on a great show. If you ever see him anywhere, definitely go and watch.
Well, I went
think
I went
Archeo-
straight from there to RTO, who are a band
Yes.
that, like, every time they've been at a festival or wherever, I've either had another band that I just are unmissable that I've had to see that they're clashing with, or we've been interviewing someone or something. Either way, this is the first time I've managed to not have something get in the way of me seeing RTO, and I thought they were really good.
Yeah, really fun.
Split Chain, really good.
Really
Yeah.
good.
Really,
they were
really
fucking brilliant.
Another band that we've seen a few times, and I think this is by far the best time I've seen them.
First time that he didn't have a guitar in his hand.
Yeah.
And we spoke to them after, and he said he was really nervous. Couldn't tell.
Couldn't
No.
fucking tell.
No, they looked like they were.
That sounded
loving
really
it.
sarcastic when you said that, by the way.
Couldn't tell.
Oh, couldn't tell.
No, I was being genuinely serious. Like, he looked like he was
Nailed it.
meant to be up there.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
I think that was the thing that they've always sounded really great when we've seen them live, but this was the time where it was like just another step up.
Yeah.
And I think that was the difference maker, was like
Him
the
being able to
energy
focus.
levels were just so much more heightened because of his ability to just fucking go
I
bananas on
think
stage.
there was a stronger connection with the crowd as well. I think with Bert not focusing on playing the guitar, like it was just focusing on his vocals and like the crowd's participation as well, like interacting with the crowd, getting them to move. Really, really, really strong set.
Lovely people.
Lovely boys, yeah. Very, very
Lovely
thankful
people.
We
to
had-
all the bands that we spoke to, but Split Chain were fucking delightful.
Yeah, me and Josh interviewed them, and like, yeah, it was so like enjoyed every single second of it.
Check it out on the channel now.
There might be some exclusive news in that video.
Go watch. Go
Stuff
watch.
that we had to check that we could release. So
We're proper journalists now.
Well,
It
yeah,
was chuffing on people next.
Speaking of Trees, a band that we saw at Trees earlier this year, or at least I did. I can't remember if you guys. Yeah, you did.
Well, just
Yeah.
barely.
Okay.
barely.
Couldn't get
Saw
in
the
the
whole thing this
frickin'
time
tent.
at Apple and Parrot.
Yep.
Like
In and amongst it.
insane. I can't believe they were playing in that pub. You're right there.
Yeah, sorry.
We're
I just-
recording.
I-
Oh, talk
I
amongst
know.
yourselves.
Yeah, we're just recording
I
the
have my mic down.
Just recording the podcast here.
Sorry. We were talking about bands, to be fair.
No, that's all right then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to see them in a venue like that again.
No, again,
that
this
was
is
really
one of
special.
those. One of those moments where we can say, when
We were at the Apple and
all
Parrot.
edgy and cool. We were at the Apple and Parrot when they played to, I don't know how many people were in there. Too many for the capacity, probably.
Probably.
It was packed because I remember finishing the Kid Bookie set and be like, oh, okay, I'll wander over to come into Apple and Parrot. Could not really fucking get in at all.
So we just sat
And so
outside.
just sat outside, just enjoying it from outside.
Sounded
And
great.
I
Oh,
still
yeah, at least you could hear it from
was
out there
chill.
as well.
Yeah, we just went and sat down on the benches,
yeah,
and still heard
relaxed.
everything. It was great.
But yeah, like to have it that fucking packed out, pretty special.
Yeah, I think they're a brilliant band. So
Yeah.
much fun live. They've got that great mix of being heavy, riffy, having energy, and then just like being up for a silly time as well.
Yeah, and just like absolute belter choruses, like
Oh yeah,
being down at the front and everyone's fucking like giving it the big one
Mm.
during the choruses is crazy.
that
fun.
song they always end on. That's like da, 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 da.
Yeah.
That's just so much fun.
I've said it before on the podcast. But I think they're going to be fucking huge.
Yeah.
And
I think it feels like they're a band that like everyone in the scene is behind as well.
Yeah.
Like everyone seems to want them to do well.
how people managed to do it, but people were stage diving in there. Like,
What, in
They're
the
almost-
Apple and Parrot?
what
Yeah, there
stage?
almost
Yeah,
wasn't enough
exactly.
room. Yeah.
What? So they were getting?
They were just
They were up onto the stage and then jumping off.
yeah, they were literally getting like the
Jesus.
tiniest bit of air off of the monitors.
But I'm getting up there.
people were just like so up for it
Mm.
that
Christ.
everyone
Like
was
anyone
caught.
crowd surfing was like on the ceiling.
Yeah, they were
this.
like yeah. It was like they were in the trash chute in Star
Yeah.
Wars getting like crushed in. No, they're brilliant. Spoiler, they were my favourite set of the whole weekend.
mine too.
They're going to be bloody huge. Easily future headliners of this festival. I think they're future Trees headliners.
Headliners.
Yeah.
Are you talking like
I'm talking.
2 years or 5?
I'm within the next 10 years.
Really?
Easy peasy, I think.
Yeah, once they got a couple of albums.
couple of albums
Something that
under their
heavy for trees.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, probably like similar round to, not like similar music, but like you could compare them to Don Broco, I think, in terms of them being just like a
Like
fun,
moshable but fun.
moshable,
Yeah.
riffy.
No, nice.
Mark
Yeah,
my words.
love them. Brilliant band. Come on the podcast.
Where did we go then, James?
So you say that was your favourite set of the weekend, and it went to then going to my favourite set of the weekend, which was 1056. Now, being kind of slowly kind of getting into them in recent months after listening to the Downer EPs, and as soon as they were on this bill, my listening started to ramp up, and they quickly became my most anticipated because I hadn't watched any live sets of them deliberately, and I just wanted to kind of, if you know their sound, I just kind of wanted to see how that would translate live. Spoiler alert, fucking phenomenal.
Oh, it translates.
It translates live. Absolutely blown away by it. Just the stagemanship on there, the musicality of it, the connection they kind of made with the crowd, the most
Pink frilly hats.
Pink frilly hats were there, cowboy hats. Yeah, that was great. The gutturals, everything about it was so fucking good, and I just could not keep my eyes off the stage.
They had a little guest vocalist.
They had a guest
which
vocalist.
Is probably the most wholesome festival moment.
Most wholesome metal moment I've ever fucking seen. I think
Wholesome music moment.
So yeah,
Most wholesome moment.
it was gorgeous. Go and see it. It will be in the vlog because we've got it on there, and I don't want to spoil it. I think just take it in and see it because it was at that moment where I was like, yeah, I really fucking love this band, because just to see what they did and just the way they went about it was absolutely beautiful. And you could tell the appreciation from the fans as well. And they gave that kid probably the moment of his life at that moment.
Oh,
and
he'll still be smiling.
Oh, he will be. And then the lovely part was that going into the merch market afterwards, he said, I'm going in there. And I was in there because Sam was getting some merch at the time, and the dad brought the kid through. And the singer Aaron literally just grabbed them straight away, was taking photos and stuff like that, and it was absolutely beautiful and wholesome. And then when you have artists and bands that you love their music so much, and then you find out they're actually genuinely great people, I feel like the kind of relationship you share them with that band and that music just goes to another level. And that's been it for me recently. I've not stopped listening to them. I've been recommending 1056 to so many friends of mine. Absolutely fucking blown away by that. Can't remember the last time I saw something like that, seeing a band for the first time.
Yeah, I was on a TikTok live for someone who was talking about Burn It Down a couple of days before, and I'd never even heard of them. And I sort of went, oh, any recommendations? And they were like, yep, if you can get a chance to see 1056, go. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I'd added them to my list, and then as soon as I heard that James had sort of got into them a little bit, I was like, oh, this is going to be... And they did not disappoint. It was so heavy, and it sounded so good. And
I mean,
incredible.
You said you were intrigued to see how it translates as well, but that's again, it's another overseas band.
Yeah, French-British metalcore bands.
Well, from a band from France to a band that are from about 15 minutes that way from where we currently are. South Arcade, kind of like hometown heroes of ours. Your first time seeing them, I think, in the Apple and Parrot.
Yeah, I was blown away. You know, I've seen obviously a lot of TikToks from them.
I've seen a lot of TikToks in my time.
I've seen a lot of TikToks. In my time.
I use TikTok.
You know, I've seen them a lot on TikTok.
They're killing it in like the online, social media game at the moment.
They might be like one of the best like bands utilizing that platform, I think. And like I've heard most of their singles that they've released, and I always thought they sounded really cool, but I didn't think it would go off like that hard, and it did. Like the people were going crazy. It was one of the most packed sets, especially for the Apple and Parrot, but just generally there was such like a dense amount of people in one space, just jumping and having fun. And like I think that was the biggest takeaway for me, is that like everyone in here is just having purely a good time.
Yeah, and everyone was singing along.
Yeah,
like for a band that are so new, like for basically everyone in there to sing along.
Yeah,
it must just feel so good. I think that again, that's the power of social media, because they've been able to reach so many people and just get people just listening, even if it's only to 30 seconds of some bits. Like if you get that in your head, then that makes the
it's
so much
justified
better.
as well though, because the songs are great. Like
yeah,
there's so many catchy riffs and like vocal hooks and stuff in those songs, and it sounds almost the same live as it does on record, if not a little bit heavier, weirdly.
Yeah, I think that as well. The thing that always strikes me about them is like they release a song, and then obviously you'll see it on TikTok for like a while, and I'll think to myself, okay, this is their best song now. And then the next song like cycle will start.
Literally,
and then it'll be like, okay, they've written a better song. And I feel like they've been just on that run for like about a year and a half.
That
now.
riff from Stone Cold Summer is just...
It's crazy. Yeah, they're going to be huge. I mean, they played Reading and Leeds this year.
I think they headlined the stage at Reading, which is nuts.
Presented an award at the HMAs.
They did. Yeah, they're another band that the scene just seems to be like latching onto and like boosting up, which is really, really good.
Nurturing them.
Yeah.
You are going to be great. You already are great. But you're going to be even better.
We're gonna make you a star.
I'm gonna make you a star, kid.
What did you go and see afterwards?
Creeper for me.
Yeah, I didn't see anything for a little while. You
Caskets.
guys saw
Okay.
Caskets.
Let's talk about Caskets then, mate.
Let's talk about Caskets.
Now I'm going
We
to
sat on a
throw
bench
you
for
back.
ages.
Huh?
We sat on a bench for
Yeah,
ages.
we just sat on a bench eating chips and going, "You should probably go and see Caskets."
I think you should have done.
You should have seen Caskets.
To
Tell
throw
us
back
why.
to something you said earlier, I got to a point of just going up high. Not even up higher. I went on the stairs on stage left, and I just sat there for a good couple of songs and just watched the drummer. And I was just engrossed. I mean, the whole band anyway in themselves were fantastic. I looked out the crowd from when I was sat there at one point and I could see you having a whale of a time in the pit.
Sorry about that.
No, you were great. You're loving it. Again, a band that I think I've come to a little bit late, but really, really enjoy their music. They put on a fantastic live show, and I mean, Matt's vocals always come across phenomenally well. I need to listen to them way more than I do at the moment, but completely killed it in that sub-headline slot for me. I think they were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I think this is the third time I've seen them, and I think I've seen them every single time this year. So this third time this year, and it's the third time I've actually seen them. Saw them at Oxford, saw them at Download, and then saw them at Burn It Down. And there's just something about their songs and the way that they portray them that just, it just ticks all the right boxes in my head. Also, the most crowd surfaced I've probably ever had, I think, at that point.
Yeah, that got
Because
busy.
it was from start to finish, it was constant, and it's the area for like the crowd downstairs isn't actually that big, so you can't really escape it because if it's coming from all directions, you've just got to accept it and just keep going. They had a bit of a lull in the middle, but from right at the start, it was people, and then the last two songs, it was just constant. I was so warm, but oh my god, I had a good time.
There was a guy in a Spider-Man costume who, for
How
their set
many
in
times?
particular, he just kept going over and over, and I was like, "There's Spider-Man." 30 seconds later, "There's Spider-Man." 30 seconds later, and again and again.
There were actually like 15 people.
There might have been 15
Spider-Man.
Spider-Mans. I would just say on that note, with that, I did find the security there, and we can kind of talk about more of it later as well. Security there were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, as they
did
were the year before
a great
as well,
job.
so-
Just lovely people. I mean, sat in the photo pit at various times. I was just kind of chatting with them. Really, really nice people, and they did their job.
They
so
seemed
well.
to just enjoy what they were doing.
I was going to say that.
Sometimes you're at a show and you see a crowd surfer coming towards the barrier, and you see security being like, oh, it's almost like they're like, oh bloody hell, here we go again.
You almost feel like you're in trouble.
Burn It Down. The security were like, oh yeah, brilliant.
It's like,
crowd
let's go.
surfer, come on, buddy, over here, off you go.
Yeah, and like you saying about them enjoying it, I think there was one point where they were like, "This is a bit much" during Caskets, because I could see like there was like four of them stood watching like hawks, and the guy on the top with the laser pointing at everyone. He gave up in the end because he's like, "I haven't got enough laser," and they were just on it, like just get them over.
Very well done.
Because and they did such a good job.
Yep.
Handing out water, like making sure everyone was all right when they could, like spot on. And Caskets again, amazing. Every time I get a chance to see him, I will go and see him, and I'll go as crazy each time because I just love it.
Agreed. They need to be bigger than what they are. And then they got to Saturday headliner.
Yeah, it's just creeper time.
So again, to kind of throw it back to one that was said earlier when you were waiting for Wargasm, I was like, okay, I'll watch a couple of songs and I'll stay for a little bit of it. And we were waiting, and we were waiting, and we were waiting, and it was just like, I really am losing the will to stay here and watch this and give it a try.
I like Creeper. I've seen them a few times. They put on a good show. They're not necessarily my kind of music, but I've always gone out my way to see them because I think they're really, really interesting live. But I just wasn't prepared to wait around for that much longer. Saw the first sort of one or two songs, I think, but then it was
like, really go back to
time
that
to get
now.
back.
It was the first time that I'd actually had an opportunity to give them a chance because they were at Trees, but I was doing something else. I can't remember what it was, and I was like, I'm just not going to see them, and I knew it was going to be packed in there anyway. But this time I was like, no, I've got the opportunity. I'm going to stand at the bottom. I'm going to give it a good old try. Everyone around me was just like, yeah, let's go. And
Everyone was buzzing. Yeah,
I couldn't, for whatever reason, get into the mindset of I'm enjoying this. But yeah, Josh, who's a massive Creeper fan, said he loved it. He said it was one of his favourite sets he's ever been to.
Nice.
And you stayed for
And
the whole thing, didn't you?
and like a really good headliner as well. Like for a festival that size,
I was surprised that they were there.
Creeper are really big.
Yeah,
Creeper are a really popular band. So for them to headline a festival like Burn It Down is almost like Burn It Down's brilliant, but it's almost a step down for Creeper. Something else has just come to mind as well that I wanted to mention was and not to keep comparing this festival to 2000 Trees, but like it feels like in terms of like the community that it creates, it's like a very similar vibe.
Yeah.
I've seen an interview with James, one of the guys that like the lead booker at Trees, and he said one of the favourite things about his festival is that you create this kind of almost community culture that like by day 2 of the festival, it's so small that you're like bumping into people that like you recognise people. Like
you
recognise your neighbours, like you recognise people at the sets and stuff. And going to this being our second year of Burn It Down, I recognise loads of people this year that were there last year.
Yeah.
That I remember chatting to, or remember like bumping into in the pits, or like on the way, like passing them in the toilets or something.
How many years has it been going? Because before
6 years, I think.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Because I before last year, I hadn't actually heard of it being a festival or like a thing. So for that many people, and for it to already have like an established like group of like people that enjoy it,
I think a lot of it comes down to its location, with it being so far in the southwest.
Far, isn't it? Yeah.
It's an area that not many bands go and tour in. So,
that is good for the scene in that
like
area. Though.
Their Christmas, like every year, Burn It Down Festival is like
Trees with
their
us.
pie.
Trees with us. We're like they're 20 minutes away.
Yeah,
brilliant. Let's go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously there'll be people that haven't even heard of Trees, and we see it as like our like Mecca.
Yeah.
But yeah,
people
are like
pilgrimage each year.
I've never really heard of that festival, but you will.
But yeah, it like Burn It Down, like, similarly to Trees, makes like this really nice community that just seems to return every year, which is so nice.
Again, that's really impressive considering that there's no camping, there's no like, there is no like this is the area. It's you just you can walk down the street and enjoy the festival, like and like not even knowing it was going to happen. So to have already an established community around something that you're not really forced into the same place as everyone else, that's really impressive.
Okay, so that's the end of Saturday. What was your favourite?
I enjoyed Creeper, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't go back to that.
About it then.
Well, it was one of those things where I was going into it the same as you guys, just sort of like willing to give it a try. It was my first, I think it was my second time seeing them. We saw them years ago when they supported
Neck Deep in State Champs.
Yeah.
Wow,
Really?
What a throwback.
Oh my god!
It was a
How long?
co-headline.
The thing I remember
from that.
The thing I remember from that set is a massive circle pit.
Yeah, it was a huge one. Yeah. And they were obviously a lot more like, I guess, their sound was a lot more punk then, whereas now they're sort of in like almost like a rock opera type vibe. So I didn't really know if I was going to gel with it or not, but I was just hooked. Maybe it was like I had a spot up on the balcony so I could see everything like perfectly. But I was completely like suckered into it. I just thought they sounded brilliant. Felt like the show, like the theatrical aspect of it, considering like how small it was, it felt like they still really like committed to it, just as they would have if it had been like a stadium. And again, it was like I said with other people and like the eye contact thing, like the fact that Will was like consciously like looking up at the balcony people. So I feel like in that sort of venue, it is easy to just focus on the floor and get like sucked into that. So when he did the sort of like left balcony cheer, right balcony cheer, like against each other sort of thing. And I think things like that, like, I don't know, it just sort of made the whole thing for me. I just thought they sounded brilliant. And then I watched like pretty much the whole set from up top, and then I went right down for the last song, Cry to Heaven, and it was just really fun. And the crowd did like, you know the bit in Misery where it gets to like, I'm your chips nail paint? The crowd started singing that, and then they sang the rest of the song like a cappella. And it was one of those things where it was like, he kept trying to like get back into it and like carry it on properly, but the crowd were just so loud that he couldn't like compete with them. It was, again, I think that was one of those things where it was like a very special moment to be in, to just sort of have everyone get swept up in that moment. So it was nice. So yeah, I'm converted now. I've really, really enjoyed it. And I've been listening to the latest album. I think it's great.
So we said our favourite sets from each day. What was your favourite set of the whole festival?
It's got to be Unpeople.
Unpeople.
Just
sure.
for reasons we've already gone through. Like just in that venue, like that band's going to go on to do massive things as well. And it's going to be an I was there kind of moment. just the energy in that room, just bouncing off ceiling to floor to wall, to the other wall, and the back wall as well. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a three-way tie between Graphic Nature, Black Gold, and 1056, but I think Black Gold just tipped it for me. Yeah, 100%. I just can't get over how good they are live.
1056 has to be. Blew me away. And that's Burn It Down 2024.
That is Burn It Down 2024. Shall we try and make some predictions
Let's make some predictions.
of
So
who could play next
two
year?
headliners. Right, we're going to pick a headliner for each day. One for Friday, one for Saturday, for example.
And then do we want to just maybe shout
Yeah,
out
we
some
could
other
shout out
bands
some
we want
bands
to
that
just see?
would be good on the lineup. Yeah.
Any ideas straight off the bat?
Well, it's one that we all talked about there, so it feels like a bit of a cheat answer to nab it first, but Hold an Absence.
Oh, for God's
Yeah,
sake.
it's an easy one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think they're the perfect size for it. They've got like so much love in the scene. They clearly, with the Castle show that they did recently, they can obviously like pull good crowds. Yeah, I think they're perfect for it. I think.
Should we go along the line or?
Don't mind.
I made it many because I just want to nick
Yeah,
Box
you're.
the Manor.
That's fine.
That's fine.
They
That's
were
not
they
right
were
in my mind
they
anyway.
were
This
one
one.
that I was thinking of.
This band here, I think again they're the right size for it. They're like a great mix of like being kind of like multi-genre almost like through their discography. I think they're heavy enough to please the sort of the metal and hardcore heads that go to this festival, but also just like widely appealing enough to headline as well.
A band that I meant to headline it last year, but couldn't. Loathe.
Yeah.
And I think with a new album that could come out, I think it's the perfect opportunity to bring them back in that headline spot if it ever comes out. I think they would do a fantastic job there. It suits them. It's that kind of, it's a Loathe festival, it feels like, and they suit the atmosphere and the vibe and everything about Burn It Down, which I think would be a phenomenal headline set.
Mm-hmm. Can I say a bonkers one? Which I don't know if this is way off as far as like size wise or what, but and vibe wise. Kubla Khan.
I could see it.
No,
I
I
could
could
see
actually
it,
see
yeah.
that. I could see
think that
that.
would be stupid.
It wasn't long ago that we saw him in London.
Yeah, I'm trying to just like picture. Oh, Counterparts would be really good actually.
Oh,
Very
God,
good.
Yeah.
Counterparts would be a really good headliner.
You should chuck Paleface Swiss in there, and we'll just have that.
We'll have
that
Dying
set
Wish as
again.
well.
Oh, give me Landmarks as well then. Fuck it. Come on.
I think Landmarks. Do you think Landmarks could headline?
I think they
Yeah,
could.
I think they could.
I think they're big
Yeah.
enough at this point.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
That'd be-
easily,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be fun.
I think they could do it and they'd smash out the park. They've never headlined like anything that big in the UK in terms of like a festival.
They could easily.
But some of the shows that they did on the last tour were huge.
one of the
Another-
best gigs we've ever been to was that.
Oh,
movement-
100. One of the
that
best live
movement,
sets I've
Landmarks.
ever watched in my life.
Another band that I'd like to see, but I think they're probably approaching being too big now because I think their next big step is a Bloodstock headliner. But could you imagine Malevolence?
I can't imagine it.
No,
That's too nuts.
too nuts.
Yeah.
That would go so hard though.
What would be good is like a Malevolent secret set in the attic.
Oh, and
In
the
the
attic.
attic.
Oh. Mate, imagine
Oh
once
my
people got the word
carnage.
trying to get up them
God.
stairs.
It'd be fucking brutal.
They'd have to close the doors, wouldn't they?
They'd
have to
be
cap
like,
it.
"Oh,
They'd do it
yeah."
under a different name.
Yeah, but even still, that'd be mad. Any other headliners before we just chuck some random band names out for funsies?
Here's one. How about Basement?
I was gonna say Basement.
You
Don't have a
two.
contract with Outbreak, like an unwritten rule at this point.
They only play
They
Outbreak.
only play
The
Outbreak.
only UK shows they
They're
play at
Only
Outbreak.
allowed to do that.
But no, album in the works allegedly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean a British
I
band as well.
don't
Which
think they've actually got any UK shows planned, or at least announced at the moment. So
I think we would cry if they did it as well.
God, could you imagine?
Me, you, and Josh would just be sobbing.
me as well. Count me in.
That's also sort of made me think that Citizen would be a pretty good move.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really fun up there.
Turnstile.
Movements.
Now we're getting silly, aren't we? Come on, James, you had a thought.
After seeing them at Trees on their headline set in the Cave, I think it was the Cave or Axiom.
I know what
You're not. No.
You're not about to say
No,
what I think you're about
don't,
to say.
Don't. No.
Better Lovers.
Oh my god.
Better fucking Lovers. This new album's
Better
about to come out.
Lovers.
This new album's about to come out.
In the
Imagine
Foundry.
Greg literally going round in the Foundry, almost.
Oh my
I think even after we had
The
last
festival
year.
will get banned.
Yeah.
You think last year with the singer from Being as an Ocean just walking round the top, Greg would be up on everything. I think it would be so much fun.
Can you imagine the paperwork they'd have to fill out
Oh
before
my
they
God,
Demolition
imagine the scenes though.
Their public insurance.
I mean, we were talking about Heck earlier.
Yeah.
But Better Lovers would be another level.
The only
Bring the
band I
place
think
down.
could be more chaotic would be Let Live.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Well, that's a good number of potential headliners we've thrown out. Should we just bands we want to see anywhere on the lineup? Any particular venues you want to see them in?
Bob Vylan.
Come on.
That's
got to have Bob Vylan
that's
in the
another
band.
headliner level, surely.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that. Yeah, Bob Vylan on the Saturday in the Foundry.
Brilliant.
Pwah.
I'd like to see as an attic headliner, and again, they maybe it's slightly too big for it now, but it would feel like a real special place. Guilt Trip.
Yeah.
It feels like I feel like they're on the precipice of like taking a really big leap. So I feel like if they get them like now before they do like another album, I feel like that would be perfect
Yeah,
timing.
I think that's bang on.
We've got Froze Mode as well. I think they'd be great.
Oh, imagine
That's
Froze Mode in
brilliant.
the Apple and Parrot.
In the Apple and Parrot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't
they
going
could.
Apple and
Yeah.
Headliner. Apple and Parrot headliner.
100%.
Oh God, yeah, Jesus.
Oh, we had a couple of Oxfordshire bands there this year in Aramea, South Arcade. I think I'd like to see Lestelle there next year, and also Worst Wishes.
I was about to fucking say that.
Thank you, Dan.
A few bands for the attic. Creek, who have like kind of a loathe-ish vibe, but maybe a little bit heavier. And a band that I'm super into at the moment called Long Goodbye, who I'll be recommending on an upcoming episode of the podcast. They've got this insane sort of like 2000s-esque metalcore vibe. It's just gnarly as fuck.
I've got one that's not heavy at all that I think would do any of the venues. Thumpasaurus. I know you guys don't care. I know you guys don't care about them.
That's got After Party all over it.
Can you imagine? I watched them at Trees and fell in love. Me and Emily had that was my favourite set of Trees. But my God, like it would be so much fun.
Oh, Dinosaur Pileup.
Yeah,
They'd be really good.
they've been quiet for a while.
Yeah, I think that'd be really fun.
This is one that I can't see happening, but I personally would go absolutely feral for it. There's an album that turns 10 years old next year by a band called Crooks, who are no longer around. And if they were to reform to do like an anniversary thing for that album, I think Burn It Down is the place for it. Because that album is like just a perfect post-hardcore album, and I love it so much. And just come back.
If we're talking about
Just do a few shows, please.
if we're talking
Come
about
on.
dream reunions for that festival, I would love to see. I would love to see.
Oh
Total
yeah.
Fire.
Well, of course.
But as far as realistic ones, I'd like to see the band Landscapes come back in the attic.
Okay.
If they could do the Life Gone Wrong album in full, that'd be pretty sweet as well.
That'd be nice of you.
That'd be nice, yeah. But I love that band and that album, especially. So, pretty pleased.
Let us know in the comments who you think could play Burn It Down Festival next year. Let us know if you went this year. Did you enjoy it? Maybe you'll come and join us next year.
Subscribe.
The vlog is on the channel as well as the interviews that we did that weekend.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
The Ragamuffin Club link is in the description. It's free, fun, and fucking friendly.
Subscribe.
So join that, and you can talk more music with us anytime you bloody want.
Subscribe.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
What should they do, James?
Subscribe. Bye.
Bye.
See you later.